love. How are you?
I am wonderful. How about you?
Very good. Thank you.
Excellent.
Hello, everybody. So today I'm going to interview my husband, Goulet. He's a real estate agent and he is 25 years old and you already have 2 properties.
Yes.
Okay, so today I'm gonna make you a couple questions.
Perfect.
So you can tell us about, your journey about real estate, how to invest, how to start, and
to get to know me a little bit better.
Great. Okay, let's start. When did your real estate journey begin?
College. And again, I didn't buy a property in college, but what I mean by having or starting the real estate journey in college comes down to a friend recommended reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. And if you haven't read it, read it. It's a great book, and basically it just talks about Robert Kiyosaki, how he had 2 fathers, and one father was a rich father, and again, he dropped out of high school, he didn't go to college, but basically he had a lot of investments, he ran businesses, things like that, whereas the smart dad, which was actually the poor dad, he went to school, he got a good job, everything else, but he was just basically living paycheck to paycheck. And that was kind of, again, the rich dad versus the poor dad. So that's kind of where, at least mentality-wise, that's where I got started, at least thinking about real estate.
Okay, so when did you realize you wanted to purchase a property, your first property?
Again, going back to college, renting an apartment in college, I realized the power of real estate. And what I mean by that is, a lot of people rent and a lot of people own, but at the time, I was a college student, and giving that landlord that rent every single month, I wondered, why couldn't I do that? Why can't I be the person getting the check instead of writing the check, right? So that's kind of what, I just thought, why am I doing this? Why not start saving money to potentially purchase a property instead?
Right. Okay, so I know back 2 years ago, 2 to 3 years ago, you bought your first property while having a job. So how were you able to save enough money to make a down payment for a first house? Because I know a lot of people, they just live paycheck by paycheck, and just giving the first step to buying a property, to be a homeowner, is very scary, and it can be very tedious if you don't know the right person,
Right. So, and a lot of people have the same question, is that, so think about it this way, let's just take, again, $1,500, let's put it this way, take it this way again, $1,500 a month rent. Most landlords require first, last, and security deposit when you move into a property.
Right.
So that's $4,500 to move in, and then from there again, you're still making $1,500 payments from then on out. If you consider a $150,000 house to purchase it, if you were to use some type of an FHA loan or a lower down payment loan, you could potentially get into that property, with closing costs and everything else for maybe around 10 grand. So I mean, again, it could potentially be double the amount of money, but after that, your mortgage would be substantially less than $1,500, and you'd be building equity, and potentially you could, rent out a bedroom or other different things. But really, saving that money is just the most important thing, really. And again, she cuts my hair, she makes my lunches. We don't go out a whole lot. We still enjoy ourselves, and actually we're planning some type of a trip this December. I don't know, to New York or Colorado. We don't know yet, but we're using credit card points that we opened a couple new credit cards that have the sign-up bonus. So again, that's another way that we can travel for free, basically. So
right, because we save money. You just have to use your money wisely. Because
Exactly.
there are ways, per year, we kind of save what, $500, $600, just me cutting your hair.
Right, exactly.
It's not much when you start, going out and all the stuff, but in the long term, you will see the money.
It doesn't seem like a lot of money, but again, if you're buying a $5, $4, whatever Starbucks every day plus $10 lunch every day, that amount of money compounded over potentially 30 years. I mean, that cup of coffee and lunch could be, $100,000 when you're, you're 50, 60 years old, just by saving just that one thing. If you invest it in something and it compounds, every year.
Right.
Very important.
All right, my love. So can you tell us about how was your first deal buying your house, and tell me about the concept of house hacking?
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And the first property did both of those things, right? So again, I was in school, I think it was the year after that I actually purchased the property. That I wasn't senior year. I graduated college. I was working for my company, LexisNexis, and I was just saving money to hopefully buy property. The first property that I bought was in Pompano Beach. List price was $150,000. We got it down. We negotiated down to $135,000. And the reason I really bought this property is because the people before me had been renting it out for $1,500 a month.
Right.
So just doing simple math, think about the 1% rule. What the 1% rule states is that if you can rent this property for 1% of the purchase price every month, it should cash flow. And again, if you're not familiar with the term cash flow is when you rent something out, after the mortgage, insurance, taxes, and interest and all those things are paid off, the money left over from that is called cash flow, and that's, again, when you start making money from a property. But again, this property was going to cash flow, so I purchased it. I moved out of my college rental, moved into that, and then again I had a friend of mine move in with me, and that's the example of house hacking. You purchase a house, and you basically hack your mortgage by basically putting somebody in the property with you to pay for the mortgage and things like that. So I moved from paying rent to receiving rent while
paying for a mortgage.
While paying for the mortgage and things like that. So I actually paid less when I purchased the property than I was when I was renting, because I had a friend in the other room.
Very interesting. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.
So let me see. Just tell me, why did you become a realtor?
So there's a couple different reasons I became a realtor. One, because I was very interested in real estate itself. Two, get access to the MLS so I can look at properties, things like that. But I mean, I genuinely do I love helping other people kind of start this journny.
Right.
Because for
it's
me,
not easy.
it's not easy. It's stressful. It's fearful.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, there's nothing like going through the underwriting process, and one thing goes wrong, an inspection goes wrong or something like that. It's very, very stressful. But I love helping people kind of understand that investing in properties and real estate is, at least for me and a lot of people, the way to go. And just kind of seeing it come to life, seeing somebody who is renting now owning a property. I mean, I have a few friends that I know personally that purchased a house, and they love it, and it kind of transforms your life going from a renter to an owner potentially of a property. So I really do love seeing other people in, whether it's investment properties or in their house of their dreams.
All right. So for people out there who want to buy their first house or a second house or whatever, where should they start?
Where should they get started? So no, absolutely. So most people start online, and again, that's the best place to go nowadays. You really don't even look in the newspaper anymore for realtors, right? Go to Zillow, go to Redfin, go to Realtor.com, all these different places. There's going to be realtors there, and again, you could certainly contact one of those individuals, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're probably wonderful. But again, I would think that the best way to do it is to use someone that you know and trust, right? Knowing somebody, could be one of your, close family, friends, or something like that, but trust is a different thing, right? And trusting somebody really is seeing their track record, seeing the results that they've done over the years, things like that. But what I would say is, if you have any interest in investments, any interest in potentially purchasing a property to eventually rent out, flip, whatever the case might be, you probably want to find a realtor that knows about investing, maybe that has rental properties themselves. Because again, why would you ask a realtor about cash flow and house hacking and all these different types of concepts if they don't own a rental property themselves? So it's very important to find somebody who does all that stuff already. And again, I do have, one rental property right now. We're in, a condo right now that, again, we'll rent out. Whenever we buy the next one, we'll rent this one out. So I've done it, I know about it, I've made the mistakes, that type of thing. So certainly give me a call. My cell phone is 352-634-0682. I'll go ahead and leave my contact information down in the description. For future reference. If you're interested in learning more, we can always sit down, evaluate where you're at in the home buying process. Again, if you've never even thought about it, if you're not even starting to save yet, it's fine. Just let me know and I can kind of put a plan together for you to start saving money for that property that you really want to get into.
Awesome. Yeah, so I mean, you guys, if you have any questions, just comment below, let us know, and he will gladly answer all the questions.
Absolutely, and again, there's no obligation. If you want to sit down with me to kind of talk about your future, kind of talk about where you're at right now financially, that's great. I love talking about this stuff, as you can, if you couldn't already tell. But yeah, if you have any questions, concerns, anything like that, just feel free to reach out, and I'll be happy to talk to you. Thanks so much.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.